And we are recording. I want to introduce one of my makers here on Art Joy is Sharing this morning. Many of you know Vicki because we've done this with her before, but today I have Teri Marshall, and you may not see her as a familiar face because she is new to this whole YouTube thing, and I'm hoping that we can convince her to do more of this. So good morning, Teri. Good morning,
Good
Vicki.
morning.
Morning.
How are you ladies? Well, I guess it's afternoon. Oh, well.
Doing good.
I've had coffee. I'm good to go.
Okay. So, I am going to
Maybe.
I'm going to pause this. So, Teri, tell me, how did you find the Art Joy is Sharing group? And tell us a little bit about your history.
Well, I've been drawing ever since I could hold a pencil. My parents always encouraged me by Christmas gifts with art supplies. I
Wow.
was very fortunate in the high school that I went to that the arts were encouraged, and we were stretching canvases and painting with acrylics back in the 70s. I went as an art major to college. There were very few of us, so we had a lot of special attention.
Wait, you're an art major?
I was, yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
She's been an art teacher, dear.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah.
My original career goals were to teach high school art. But I had a school bill that I couldn't pay, and so I couldn't finish off the last semester. And in the meantime, got married, had 4 kids and a mortgage, and then I eventually paid off my school bill. But when I went to go back, they said I had to take a whole semester of junk classes. By that time, I knew I wasn't going to be an art teacher until I became an art teacher and found out that I sucked at grading and discipline. And so, anyway, I have volunteered in elementary schools, and that was a blast because the teacher did all the discipline and all the grading. All I had to do was walk in there. The kids loved it. They were excited to see me. It was wonderful. I worked with my kids as they grew up through their school. I also taught the Webelos when they were doing their art merit badge.
Yep.
And I worked at my church doing art there as well.
Cool.
So how I actually got to Art Joy of Sharing is kind of a weird, I don't know. It started off with I bought a sewing machine. There was a brother that had embroidery, and so I started watching YouTubes on that, and ran the person, their spokesperson was Julie Faye Van Balzer.
Oh, yeah.
And so I started with the sewing, and then she started talking about art journaling. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, well, I do art and I do journaling. Yeah. But I never thought about putting it together. Yeah. So I started watching her art journaling, and that just got me hooked, of course, because it was right down my aisle. And so then I started searching around, and I think I found Art Joy of Sharing on Facebook first, and then started following you on YouTube.
That is
and
so
there you have it.
All right. So, you're part of the group, but what about the group do you like? What does it help you with? How do you utilize the group?
I think I'm one of those weird persons that like the challenge parts. I really enjoyed the Thursdays with you and Shell Seed back in the day, and that started me feeling like I was part of the community. Mm-hmm. And even though that has changed, I still feel like I'm a part of the community, and I enjoy being there because of the community.
Yeah. Good. And that's really what it's about, the joy of sharing and having a community. So yay.
We're thrilled.
It's I read a long time ago, or I saw it on a documentary. C.S. Lewis was talking about how he would meet once a week with J.R. Tolkien and several other creative minds, and they would bring whatever they were working on, and they called themselves the Inklings.
Yes.
And they encouraged each other. They would be critics for each other. And he kept stressing in what I was reading the importance of having a creative community. And when I'm out here in the in the woods, there isn't a whole lot of people that are close to me. When I was in the city, it was all my kids were at home, and they were my creative community. I had several kids that were taking art classes. It was wonderful. But now I need that community online because I can't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's, it's great because now we can have this worldwide community that gets together and just, at whatever time you can just pick up a computer or a tablet or a phone and you're in touch. So it's great. So what type of art are you doing now, or what are you most interested in?
Oh, this past year has just been really hard because most of my art supplies are in the barn packed up. This week, my husband, I think it was Christmas and glitter all over the house that finally made my husband see that I need a place. And so I am now in our little trailer. It was the trailer that we used to move. We found when we were moving that it was actually cheaper to buy a little box trailer than it was to rent. By 2 trips, we had paid for it.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting empty, and now it has art stuff flowing into it. I have to organize it, and maybe a few decorations, but
Vicky's
I have
favorite.
a place.
Organizing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That itself is separate from art. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Organizing is a skill of its own. And then
She
there's
shares a lot of those organizational videos with me. She'll say, "Have you seen this one?"
we do it back and forth, and it's costing me a fortune.
Yeah.
It gets costly.
But I started off as my favorite is painting on canvas with acrylics.
There you go, Peg.
But the last year with being limited, it has basically been my little travel journal with watercolors and doodling. Yay! But I'm looking forward to all sorts of things because if I see it and I like it, I want to try it.
Hey, weren't we just talking about that this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I remember I did a maker interview like this with Susan Taylor Brown, and it was a great interview because she was talking about just try it, whether you think you're going to like it or not, just try it. And it's like, yeah, because you don't know.
Have you ever heard this thing? I don't know where it was, a book or in a movie where the guy said for a whole year he was going to say yes to everything. Do you want to skydive? Yes. You want to jump off a cliff? Yes. Everything was yes. And I'm thinking that'd be great to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would not be great with my husband. I'm sorry.
No. I mean,
well, I'm thinking art wise and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking about doing anything
No,
wild
not
and
crazy
wacky,
stuff.
though.
He did crazy stuff. He was not an artist, but art wise, I mean, I've come a long way. I mean, your taste change as you get older and you learn more and you go, I don't really like this. I tend to like this more. But sometimes you just stumble onto what it is you love that you didn't know you loved till you got there.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that was good that came out of the challenges is a lot of people were trying things that they had never done before. And using products or just even different watercolors or brushes or whatever they had to try to work outside of what their normal range was. So,
Kind of scary.
so share with us, do you have any regular art habits that you've formed over the years? How do you approach this?
It's kind of hard because in the past, with 4 kids, you do your art when you can do your art. And I usually became more creative around Christmas time. And so a lot of it was by need. If I needed to keep my kids occupied, put out the art supplies. If I needed a Christmas present or a gift of some sort, put out the art supplies. I finally gotten to a point in my life where those things are not pushing my art. So it's the art journal that keeps me going, and watching and videos and things like that. They actually encourage me to get going. Otherwise, I just sit there and look at the art supplies, and I just sometimes don't feel motivated. But when I watch somebody else playing, I want to get in there, and that's what encourages me.
Does you in every time.
So that's basically your inspiration point, is just getting out there, seeing something that just says, I got to try that.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Wait, though, I have a comment. Wait. The other people that Art Joy Sharing Group will be thrilled that you said you're an art journaler. I don't fall in that category. It's not. They try. Vicki, just try this. Just try. You'll. It's like Teflon. It just rolls right off of me. I don't find that to be my joy. Although a book of doodles, I'm fine with books and putting stuff together like that. But the act of painting or doing that physically on a regular basis, not my thing.
But the fact that you're in a journal and you're doing something, Vicki,
Yeah.
qualifies you. Okay.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah. So don't count yourself out. You're still in the group.
Oh. So they will be thrilled. You mentioned you like art journaling. That's right up their alley.
Actually, what I like is being creative and learning. And the two of them together is when I really get excited.
So do you have any basic tips for anybody watching this about, how to approach art, or, how to spark that interest or get them going?
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up is when I taught first graders, some of the things that I taught them, I did not realize what I would be saying to adults. But I keep coming back to them. And one of them is, there's no good art and there's no bad art. There's only practice pieces and masterpieces. And if you don't like what you've done, it's a practice piece. Look at it, learn from it, and then throw it away. And then do your masterpiece after you've learned what you've done wrong, or what you didn't like about it, I should say. The other thing is, kids at a certain age, they go through this thing where I can't draw. And it's because their mind is developing faster than their skills. One of the things that I would always encourage them was, when you learned how to write your name, you learned the basic tools for drawing anything you want to draw. And that's a straight line, a curved line, and a dot. All you have to do is to practice how you put them together to make what you want. And it all comes back to practice.
Yeah.
The final thing I told them is, there are 3 things you need to do anything well. And it doesn't matter whether it's baseball, reading, or art. And that is, want to, you've got to want to do it. Can do, you've got to believe you can do it. And then the last thing is practice, practice, practice. And those are the same things that apply to us as adults as it did to those little kids.
Yeah, I need a sampler on the wall that has that. That's great.
That sounds
That's really
good.
good advice. So you're a journaler. Are you still painting? What is your style of art now?
I have really gotten into the mixed media. Before I really started art journaling, I had not really done any mixed media except for one project in one art class. When my last son started college, he said, "Come take this class with me." And
Oh, yeah.
I'm a sucker for learning, and it was at a junior college. And the class he wanted me to take with him, which I did, was 3D animation, which I
Oh,
absolutely loved. But that was like 20 years ago, so it's all changed
oh,
now.
yeah. Yeah.
But while I was there, I went ahead and started taking other classes because a lot of the things that are now available, they didn't exist when I was back in school. So I took digital still photography, all the computer art classes and things like that for fun. And I went back and took another painting class, and that's when I was really introduced for the first time to mixed media. And I didn't really get a grasp of it until I started art journaling, and then I went back and realized what I was doing before. So
Okay, Teri. So, we're kind of art addicts here.
Kinda.
And we want to pick your brain for your favorite tools. So, do you have favorite tools that you want to share with us?
I acrylic paint.
What kind of paint do you like to use?
In my art journal, I just use a regular craft paint because it's cheap and it's there.
Yeah.
When I'm painting on canvas, I like the Goldens because that was in my affordability,
Yeah.
and yet it's a little bit better quality than a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. So,
And then,
go ahead.
then besides that, of course, you need pens, and I like the microns. That's what I use mostly now. But my Posca pens, once I got introduced to those, I carry those with me.
Would you like my microns? I could mail you a whole bunch.
Oh, really? You don't like them?
No, I don't use them anymore.
Oh, I wear them out.
Sure, what your favorite is, Vicki?
My favorite pen right now is the Uniball Air Micro Air because it's really black and juicy.
Oh,
Not waterproof, not water resistant. So if you're planning on, Peg and I've had this discussion a million times. If you're planning on covering it up, you better spray it, not slather, because it'll be everywhere. What did I say today? Like bad mascara?
Yeah, that's what you said. And I said, well, but I use workable fix in between layers all the time. So
see, I just thought after my disaster, when I sealed a journal and the pages stuck together, I decided I'm not sealing my papers anymore. I can't. It just stuck. My whole journal is glued together with Mod Podge. Mod Podge.
what about spray fixatives?
I have some in the in my craft closet. I have
They
some.
don't stick together with the spray fixatives, do they?
No.
Oh.
I just don't. Nobody ever touches my stuff but me, so I don't spray stuff. If it's something that I sell or something that's going somewhere else to somebody else, I will seal it because I'm nervous. But other than that, not anymore.
But sometimes it does depend on the substrate too. We were working on some plasticized material. Several of us were working on some plasticized material that no matter what you put on the surface, you could not seal it down. It just became this sticky mess.
Yep.
So substrates are important too.
No more Mod Podge.
Well, I haven't used it in years. I don't like Mod Podge.
You live in the South and humidity ruins Mod Podge. If you live in the desert, maybe it's not an issue, But here in the South, it's absolutely a humidity issue. Even if it's an air conditioning, it's still an issue. So no more Mod Podge.
See, that's one of the things that I'm going to have to get used to. When I lived in Southern California, we were more in the desert area. And now I'm in Louisiana where it's moist and humid. So I know there's going to be a lot of learning to be done.
I really didn't think I was going to learn a lesson like that. I thought I was smarter than that, but evidently I was not.
So how long have you been there, Teri?
A little over a year.
Okay.
Ooh, you're new.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so now my question is, why did you move to Louisiana?
It's where my husband's family's from.
Okay.
It was part of our agreement before we ever got married some 40 some odd years ago.
Oh.
We will eventually move to where my family is. And I said, okay.
Well, and it's probably a lot more affordable than California right now. So.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not my California anymore.
Yeah. So, okay. We know that you have moved, that you're organizing and you're settling into all this new space, that you're working on getting things the way you want them. So what's next? How are you expanding your craft?
Well, just being able to go from stuck in a journal to be able to put up a canvas and work is quite a bit of difference. I have in mind that I haven't started yet because of lack of space. And yeah, so there's lots of directions to go.
Yeah, there are many choices to make, and you don't have to limit yourself. That's the beauty of art, is it's a wide open thing where you can get inspired watching something or flipping through a magazine or, talking with your friends.
Oh, it gets costly sometimes.
And then it's like we're off and running. Okay.
Easily influenced by others.
So you said people can find you on Art Joy Sharing Facebook group, right?
Yep.
And you post in there with what you're doing, right?
Sometimes I don't always post everything because most of this year has just been journaling,
Which is fine,
which is fine, but I just haven't done it like I should.
I don't know if you've watched Betsy. She posts something every day, and I love it because she is doing it, and she's doing something every single day, and she's posting it there in the group, and she's committed to doing this thing, and it's inspiring to me to see somebody who is that consistent with their art.
Did you see that she's numbered them 1,300 and some odd days? And I thought,
I have.
On a roll. Listen, I can't make 61 days for some or 30 days for some of these challenges. How would I ever do 1,300 days? I don't know.
I know. Whenever we were doing the ATCs in June, it was like I started off knowing that I could not do all 30. It was more of a challenge to see how many can I get done this time.
Every year you try to, your goal is to achieve the 30, and every year I fail. But I try again the next year because I forgot and I failed the last year.
Yeah, it's fun to challenge yourself. It's like I was talking to the girls earlier, and I said, yeah, I had that big canvas that I did I painted something on it every day for 30 days. So that was a challenge to myself, just to do that, to expand my knowledge and my feeling for the piece that I was working on.
Well, that's what month was it that we used to do Art Journal Habit for 30 days?
We started off doing it in November, which was a terrible month.
Uh-huh.
Because of the holidays.
Uh-huh.
And then We did that for a few years, and then I suggested to Shell that we move it to October, which might be a little more conducive to having people participate because they're not into the holidays and people visiting. And so we switched it to October, and I think we did it 2 years in October. But let me tell you, by the end of that month, I was burnt out.
I can imagine.
Well, because we were trying to do videos and we were trying to, if what you're doing is just a page a day and
That's
it's for
different.
yourself, that's different than when you're trying to produce something for a group like Art Joy is sharing and share it and inspire other people.
Every day. Every
And
day.
and my upload speed is not good. So it was a struggle because if I'm spending 4 or 5 hours a day trying to upload something, and plus I have to video, and plus I have to edit, plus it's like this is probably a little more work than I want to do.
I was looking up at the bookshelf above my head, and there's a big old journal. It's white with black thing. Art Journal Habit 2018. That might have been the last time I did it because it was.
I think that might have been the first time I did it.
One goes out, one comes in.
Well, and that's the thing about when you're in a group like that and you have a challenge and you give it to the group, they don't necessarily all have to do it every day and finish at the same time you're finishing. It is just a way to inspire yourself to do something. And it's great because at the end you end up with a journal that's full of pages. And so it's a fun challenge.
It was double challenge for me. First of all, I don't do the same kind of stuff you guys do. And the second one is to finish what I started. Didn't matter the length of time, but I had to finish. Just about killed me. At the end of the month, I was like, you know what? Thank God we only do this 1 month a year because I don't think I can.
How did you feel about it, Teri?
I enjoyed it, but I didn't put any stress on myself to finish it. I just did as many as I could and felt good about it.
Okay.
Oh, I wish I could transcend to that level. I have not reached that point of enlightenment.
Yeah, life gets in the way sometimes, and you just have to do what you can do. And I set a goal of trying to be creative on a regular basis, but some weeks it just doesn't work out, so you do what you have to do. So is there anything, Teri, that is really burning that you just need to share with the group here?
I think I already shared it.
No pressure.
When I was talking about the little kids stuff that I taught them.
That was a gem.
That is a real gem.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm thrilled that you were an art major because I was. For a small amount of time, I was an art major when I was 19. And the class that finished me was a 3D art class. We had to physically make something 3D. That was back in 78, 77, 78. And I cried.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was like, I can't do this. I was like your first graders. I can't do it. I was so happy to be done with that class when it was over. I got a B, but I don't know how that happened. I do not know how that happened. The live drawing class where you had sketching human beings that came and posed was so much better than that 3D class. After I got done with that, I said, you know what? Maybe art major is not my thing.
The only classes that I took that made me question the art major was the art history class, because it was right after lunch. The teacher talked in a monotone voice and the lights were off.
That was my political science class with 400 people.
Yeah, history after lunch, any kind of history after lunch, just no.
That's a snooze fest waiting to happen.
Well, Terry, I got to say that we're glad that you joined our tribe.
Yes,
That
we are.
Thank you.
you're part of the community here, and we hope to hear much more and great things coming from you.
And Seymour.
Yeah, and if you're agreeable, we can do some lives together, and you can show what you're working on. And
Okay, sounds
all
good.
right. All right. Well, I'm grateful for you sharing today, and for our good friend Vicky for joining in, and thanks for being here, and remember to keep keep everybody smiling, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.